Hello and welcome to my session, An Approach to Philosophy. I always say philosophical discussions break dogmas and promote free thinking. My objectives are to note the remarkable philosophers and their thoughts, to remember the core philosophical ideas of great philosophers, to keep things short and simple for those who are interested in philosophy, to learn, relearn and continue research on life and works of great philosophers. Today I am going to discuss about Plato. Before I start, I should say that one session is not enough to discuss about Plato's work. I will take future sessions to describe Plato's work and teachings. Plato was a philosopher in classical Greece. He was famous for dialogue and dialectic. In dialogue, he discussed about the conversation between Socrates and other philosophers. And in dialectic, he discussed about the dialectic method or the Socratic method. He was the founder of the famous academy in Athens, which was the first ever educational institute in classical Greece. Like, he was born in Athens around 429 BC. He descended from a rich and aristocrat family. Some account says that he descended from a royal family. Philosophy. Plato's whole work is so vast, it's like an ocean, so it is very difficult to describe it in one session. But we can divide his work, or we can divide his whole work into three categories: theory of forms, epistemology and political philosophy. Theory of forms, which is the most important discussions of Plato. Material world, as it seems to us, is not the real world, but only an image of the real world, a solution to the problem of universals. If we consider mathematics, geometry and any other object, what you are seeing in everyday life, we can find that the thing what we are seeing through our eyes is not unchanged, it's changing day by day. Suppose if you consider a rose, you are watching a rose, it may be different color like red, pink, yellow, but the common feature which Plato recognized as the form, it is unchanged. All roses have certain common features which we call forms. The apparent world, which constantly changes, and an unchanging and unseen world of forms, which may be the cause of what is apparent. Theory of forms is so important that it needs one class or more than one sessions to discuss. So I will definitely cover this part later in my future session. He was the student of Socrates and he was highly influenced by Socrates. He also discussed about epistemology in his book Theaetetus. He discussed about epistemology in detail, and there he quoted that knowledge is justified true belief. Justified true belief. Through our sense perceptions, what we are getting, it is empirical knowledge. And empirical knowledge, you cannot depend on empirical knowledge, because most of the time they are invalid or full of misinformation. But when your empirical knowledge is justified by your reasoning, then it becomes the truth. So this is also an important part. I will discuss it later also. Political philosophy. In Republic, in detail, Plato discussed about the class structure or about the society. There he explained that a society must have three class structure: productive, protective and governing. Productive means the class of workers, protective the class of warriors or guardians, governing the class of rulers or philosopher kings. Corresponding to the appetite, spirit, reason structure of the individual soul. Plato said that as a human being, as an individual, we are having three parts of appetite, spirit and reason. He corresponded this three part with the three class structure. Appetite part with the productive class, spirit with the protective class, and reason with the governing or philosopher king. Philosopher king. Like Socrates, Plato also supported the concept of philosopher king. He believed that a man who is wise only can and love reasoning only can guide the state. So Socrates described this philosopher king as those who love the sight of truth. Plato also had the same view of Socrates. Republic. In Republic, his famous book, he stated that he talked about different governing talked about aristocracy, democracy, oligarchy, democracy and tyranny. Aristocracy, he discussed that aristocracy, it is the rule by the best, means this the person who is knowledgeable and wise only can lead the state. From aristocracy it comes the democracy, ruled by the honorable persons. From democracy comes the oligarchy. Oligarchy means ruled by the few. Then comes democracy. Democracy it is ruled by the people. And lastly, Plato alerted the society that when democracy degenerated, it finally came to the rule under the tyrant or ruled by one person. Republic. Aristocracy is advocated in Plato's Republic. This regime is ruled by a philosopher king, grounded on wisdom and reason. As I have told you, Plato also supported the concept of philosopher king, and he believed the man who is really knowledgeable and wise only can guide the state. Thank you and thanks for watching.